If he doesn't look exactly like you remember him, well, it's been a while. In fact, it had been 6 years since Phil Collins last played in public when he kicked off this year's U.S. Open tennis tournament 2 months ago. He is 65 now, walking with a cane and a little hard of hearing, not to mention the bad wrist that keeps him from playing the drums. But Phil Collins wants us all to know he is not fading away.
I've been made aware the last few years that people have missed me. I was checking into a hotel in Miami and the bellman said something to me and it really touched me. It was like, you know, when are you going to come back, man, because we really miss you. Stay with me, my love. I hope you'll always be.
But as much as he wants to look forward, the bulk of Collins' energy lately has been spent looking back. His new memoir, Not Dead Yet, is a candid chronicle of struggle with marriage, drinking, and fame.
So maybe this was an attempt to gain some clarity. You had lived the life, and now maybe you wanted to understand it a little.
Yeah, I think so. You know, I mean, when you've been married 3 times and you've got 5 kids, you don't live with them, and you've been divorced 3 times, you start to wonder whether it's you. You know? Can't always be someone else's fault.
Born and raised in the outskirts of post-war London, his book charts his beginnings as a performer playing the Artful Dodger in a West End production of Oliver.
Well, I've been waiting here so long.
Through his first run as a rock star with Genesis, to his turn as one of the biggest pop icons of the 80s and 90s.
I think I missed again.
But if you think selling 250 million records insulates you from regret, Collins is proof one has absolutely nothing to do with the other.
I think in the 80s, I became very annoying. She don't even know my name, but I think she likes me just the same. You know, I know a lot of people love it, but I can see that I was omnipresent, and that can get up people's noses.
Now, Phil Collins!
The high point then seems to be one of his low points now that he's had more than 3 decades to think about it. The summer of 1985, when he played Live Aid in London in the morning, then took the Concorde to play another set in Philadelphia.
I do think it added to my showing off kind of thing, and the annoying guy that thinks he can act and thinks he can do. And not only does he play Live Aid once, he plays it twice.
He couldn't help himself. Once he hit it big, he pushed hard with no regard for consequence.
Please give me one more night.
He built a solo career. He became a sought-after producer. He even had his own big band.
And I'm reading the chapter, and I'm thinking, Phil, slow down. Slow down. Did that thought ever cross your mind?
Oh, not really.
Nothing could withstand that pace. Certainly not any of his 3 marriages. These days, having reconciled with his 3rd wife and living in Miami with their 2 teenage sons, Collins seems to be finding liberation in the honest reckoning.
You're the only one who really knew me at all.
Take his Oscar-nominated, Grammy-winning hit, Against All Odds. He can't even play it.
Apart from writing it, I've only ever played it twice.
You can't play Against All Odds?
No. I could learn, but I can't play it, no.
But Phil Collins has written this book to reckon with much bigger things than that.
You'll be in my heart.
In 2006, his 3rd marriage falling apart, living alone in a hotel while working on the Broadway version of Tarzan, Collins almost let the pain kill him.
And you discover the pain relief in the minibar. Were you aware you were drinking that much?
Yeah. Yeah.
This man, who'd given so much pleasure to so many people, could not find any happiness himself. The workaholic became an alcoholic.
How bad did it get?
Oh, I was at death's door, you know. I mean,
Hang on. Literally, that's
yeah, well, that's what the doctor said. Yeah, well, I was in Lausanne intensive care in a hospital. My pancreas had sort of buggered up, and organs were shutting down. And the doctor said to Lindsay, who's my assistant, "Is Mr. Collins' papers in order? Because we don't think he might not make it, you know."
Ask Phil Collins an honest question, and you get an honest answer.
You good? You clean? You're...
No, you know, I mean, I was clean for 3 years, and now I feel like I can have a glass of wine.
These days, Collins gets his real kicks in San Antonio, Texas, of all places, remembering the Alamo. The show apparently hooked kids on both sides of the Atlantic because Phil Collins grew up to become the largest private collector of Alamo artifacts. His collection was valued at more than $10 million when he donated it to the state of Texas.
You really get a sense of how heavy.
If this all seems like a bit of a head-scratcher, it makes perfect sense when you consider that for Collins, the story of the Alamo, like his own, is far more complicated than you might think.
And it wasn't bad Mexicans and good Texans. You know, there was bravery on both sides of the wall.
Seems to me like you're really into setting the record straight.
Yeah, I think it needs to be done. And me, I'm getting stronger by the minute.
Setting the record straight is what Phil Collins needs to do wherever he is these days.
The acoustics okay in a room like this?
Yeah.
Like in the studio he's set up at home in Miami, where he contemplates his comeback.
If I had to bet one side or the other, that Phil Collins is going to actually make music again in here that we all hear, or should I take the other side of that?
Oh, I think I would owe it to you to say I think it's possible, yeah. Well, I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Oh, love.
Maybe it will be more solo work. Maybe he'll team up with his son Nick, who backed him up on drums at the US Open. Or perhaps another reunion with Genesis.
Whatever form it takes, you're not done yet.
No, I'm not dead yet.
Sounds like the good name for a
Seems
book.
like a good name for a book.